Hello, it's Mattyfbaby here with some Rainbow Cup action for you, and today we're gonna see if Ivysaur can hang with the rest of the grass boys. Is he a good replacement if you don't have one of those legacy Frenzy Plant Meganiums or the Venusaur in particular, you know, that's the big boss of the grass types for this cup. So yeah, let's just get going. Ivysaur, just like Venusaur, obviously it's going to be grass and poison type. It's going to have weaknesses to flying, fire, ice, and psychic. Unlike a regular plain old grass type, since it's a poison dual typing, it's going to just take neutral damage from poison or from bug types. So you don't have to worry about those bugs coming in and giving super effective damage. Just going to be neutral. It's going to be resistant to electric, water, fighting, fairy, and then 2 times resistance immunity tier to other grass types. And for the flying types you gotta worry about its weakness to flying, you gotta worry about moves from Mantine. For the fire, you gotta worry about moves from Charizard, Ninetales, and Typhlosion. For its ice weakness, you gotta worry about moves from Azumarill, Slowbro, Mantine again with the ice beam if they decide to have that on there. And then for the psychic weakness, you gotta be worried about those confusion users like Slowbro, Slowpoke, and Venomoth, or the Psyshock from Ninetales. So yeah, that's a little breakdown just to introduce you to Ivysaur. Next, we're going to compare it to Meganium and Venusaur, just a little comparison. I have on the screen right here, I have a little breakdown of how each of the Pokemon do against the entire field in the different shield scenarios, 0 to 0, 1 to 1, and 2 to 2. I don't have 0 to 1, 1 to 0, 1 to 2. It's all just even shields, just a little general introduction. So you look over at the 0 to 0, Ivysaur is going to win 60.9% of those, and you look, Venusaur is going to be the top dog for the 0 to 0 shields against the entire field. It's going to have 66.3 win percentage. Then Ivysaur comes in second at 60.9, and Meganium at 58.7. If you go to the 1-to-1 shield scenarios, again, Venusaur at the top, and it's a little bit bigger of a difference this time. It was only 6% difference, or 5.4 between Ivysaur and Venusaur at 0 to 0, but at the 1-to-1, Venusaur wins 64.1% of the matchups against the field, and then Meganium actually comes in second this round instead of last, so it wins 60.9% of the matches against the entire field, and then Ivysaur does the worst in comparison to everyone else at this time, but still it's not too far off, you know, considering it's just a middle evolution, right? It doesn't have a legacy move, right? I mean, you can get it right now no matter what. You can't get those other Pokemon unless you trade for them right now, so it only wins 54.3% of the matches, and that's only a difference of 9 wins. You know, it wins 9 less wins than Venusaur and 6 less against Meganium. So next, let's go over and look at the 2-to-2 shielding, and again, Venusaur is going to come out on top, but this is really even all across the board. It's 47.8% win percentage for Venusaur, and then you look at the other two, it's only 46.7%, so it's only down 1.1%. So pretty even across the board. Obviously, Venusaur is the clear winner, and then Ivysaur and Meganium kind of split depending. Next, let's look at the move activation time. So if you are looking for the ideal move set for your Ivysaur, it's going to be Vine Whip, and then Power Whip and Sludge Bomb, and it's going to take 7 Power Whips or Vine Whips to get to Power Whip. I'm gonna probably stumble on that kind of stuff every time I do a video. Seven Vine Whips will get you to a Power Whip, and it's gonna take 7.5 seconds. And to get to a Sludge Bomb, it's gonna take both Ivysaur and Venusaur, since it's the same moveset, Vine Whip, Sludge Bomb. It's gonna take 7 quick moves and 7.5 seconds. So let's look at Venusaur and Meganium, how fast it takes them to get to their grass charge move. It's going to be a more powerful charge move, and they're also only going to take 6 Vine Whips and 6.5 seconds. So it's 1 less fast move and 1 less second for both of them to get to their grass attack. So that is going to be a slight advantage. That is going to help you out a little more. Those seconds do count, but it's not too big of a gap if you have to go find a budget grass user that is a non-legacy. And then let's look at the last thing. We have Meganium's Earthquake. It's going to take 9 Vine Whips and 9.5 seconds. So as you can see, that's 2 more seconds and 2 more Vine Whips then it takes the other two to get to their Sludge Bomb. But Earthquake, it's going to counter our huge weakness to fire, and it's just going to be a really massive, it's one of the best damage per energy moves in the whole entire game. So when you think about it, Meganium doesn't have the poison typing, so it's going to take the super effective damage to Bug, and it's not going to resist fighting, or two things off the top of my head that it loses by just being a grass type, but it does have that Earthquake to, get it over against its counters of the fighting, and since it doesn't have poison typing, it also doesn't have to worry about psychic moves like the Confusions from Slowbro, Slowpoke, Venomoth, the Psyshock and stuff like that from the Ninetales. Doesn't have to worry about taking super effective damage from that. So there are slightly different flavors, and I'm just saying Ivysaur, it is going to be a small step down, it seems to me, but it's not too bad. It can hang with the two big grass types, and if you have to use it, if you really need that grass type, it's not a bad option. So let's go look at some battles. Alright, so we are in a Raichu versus our Ivysaur lead, and that is going to be a good matchup for us. We're going to resist its fighting and its electric moves. There is no reason for us to shield right there. It should just be a Thunder Punch or a Brick Break. We're about to send off a Power Whip, which is going to hurt the Raichu way more than it can hurt us. Get out of here, Santa Claus. Go back to the North Pole. Alright, so another Thunder Punch comes in, and like I said, no reason for us to go ahead and shield that. We just want to take down this Raichu and get it out of here. He does not use a second shield, so we've now dispelled the Raichu, and we've gone up in shield advantage. He brings in the Charizard, and we want to get out of there. Maybe we'll need a little bit of Vine Whip later, and so we switch into our Slowbro, so we can go get to Ice Beam and Water Pulse Town. He used some Confusion. It's going to hit neutral to everybody almost in this cup, so we're going to do neutral damage really well to the Lantern as well as the Charizard. So here we're going to shield up this Thunderbolt. We don't want no part of that. So we fire something off, and then we gotta get another shield off, and we were trying to fire Ice Beam off before he got off another charge move, and we had to burn another shield. But there we go. We've now lost a shield advantage, but it's okay. We'll be fine. It's not looking that great, but yeah, we do get the Ice Beam off. We got a little scared. We probably could have went for the Water Pulse, but we were a little worried we weren't going to hit it in time. So next we bring in the Ninetales so we can try and finish off this Charizard. We will be able to tank the Blast Burn or the Dragon Claw, no problem. We go ahead and fire off a Psyshock and get that thing down, and that's going to be the end of it. And next we have Quagsire versus Ivysaur. This is another great lead for us. So, Raichu and Quagsire are two great matchups for us. If you think you might be facing a lead in those regards, it's a good time to lead with Ivysaur. So he switches into the Ninetales, and we're going to be able to resist the most prominent moves that Ninetales will have, which is the Psyshock or either Flamethrower or Overheat. I don't think many people run Solar Beam because it's going to take a long time for Ninetales to get to Solar Beam, unlike a Typhlosion with Shadow Claw, who is going to be able to get to Solar Beam a lot faster than you would imagine. So yeah, be wary of that when you have a Typhlosion, that it could send the Solar Beam and you might expect it to not have that ready, and it totally could. So here we go, Quagsire versus Slowbro. We're at the point where let's just go ahead and let our Slowbro down. We bring the Ivysaur back in, and of course they want to get that out of there. So we notice it has the air or the wing attack and not the bubble, and so we decide to get our Ivysaur out of there. Both of these are not going to be ideal matchups against Mantine, but since we're not going to take super effective hits because of the fast move choice on the Mantine, we decided to go with our Ninetales, and we're going to have to watch out for the Water Pulse, and we do that the first time successfully, but then he successfully shield baits us, and so he gains a little bit of energy going, or he saves a little bit of energy by using the Aerial Ace, which costs less, and yeah, we got shield baited there, so we are not able to get his other shield gone, but we do have a Power Whip ready when Ivysaur comes back in, and right now we're just like, please just go ahead and please let us down him before he gets another Aerial Ace, and we do. So luckily when the Quag comes back out, we have a Power Whip all ready to go. So this is a bad lead for us. Slowbro versus the Fortress. We're going to be taking super effective damage from the Bug fast move, so we get out of there, and we are able to fire off Earthquake, which is not going to down the Fortress, but is going to do a lot of damage. It's neutral damage, but yeah, so she brings in Miss Lola, brings in Meganium, and yeah, so we're gonna sit there and and get off a Stone Edge, and then let our guy go down to this Frenzy Plant. Since it's not a poison type, we don't bring in the Slowbro. Oh, it's dance time. It's lagging a little bit, so we'll just dance a little bit. And yeah, we bring in our poison type to go fight this Meganium, and we don't think that it did enough Vine Whips to go get the Earthquake. Maybe it was pretty close. We're thinking that's a Frenzy Plant, so we do tank that. And we also have 2 shields, so we're thinking they might try to shield bait us, and so we do not shield there. And now this time there's a lot more headbangs going on, a lot more Vine Whips, and so we think an Earthquake's coming our way, and that's gonna not be good for us, so we go ahead and use one of our 2 shields. We can't take them with us when the match is over anyways, and so we get the Sludge Bomb off, and yeah, it goes out of here. Next, the Mantine comes back in. We want no part of that with our Ivysaur, so we bring in the Slowbro, who's going to take he's going to be able to tank pretty much everything that the Mantine has to throw at it pretty well. So we get the Ice Beam off, which hits the Mantine for neutral damage, and that's going to hurt it a lot. Not completely finish it off, but we do have some confusions left and a shield left, so we're going to go ahead and shield up real quick and try to down it with confusion and get to another charge move, which we don't, because the Fortress comes back in ready to roll, and so we are almost ready to roll ourselves. We get a Power Whip off because Fortress is going to be really resistant to the poison move. It also resists our grass moves a lot, and we're lucky that we're able to get it down with the fast moves straight up. We're pretty fortunate there. So next we're playing Vinny. This is actually one of his first Rainbow matches ever. So yeah, shout out to you, Vinny, my rival. We're going to go ahead and Magcargo versus Quagsire. We get the shield busted with the Earthquake, and then comes in the Azumarill. We decide to pop off another Earthquake onto the Azumarill, and that is when and that is going to do a pretty good amount of damage, and yeah, it froze a little bit on my screen, but the Ice Beam comes in with our Ivysaur. We want to come in and get a Power Whip off, and both of our charge moves are going to be super effective to the Azumarill. We don't want to take the Ice Beam. Maybe we can probably survive one, but since we have our guy rolling, we decided to just keep him rolling and try to get the energy built up, and we don't know who's coming back in, but we just go ahead and fire off our Power Whip, and since it's neutral damage to the Magcargo, that's going to be good for us. We're going to be able to down it. And we get a Sludge Bomb off before Typhlosion is able to get the Blast Burn. Obviously it's not going to completely kill it, but way better than our Frenzy Plant. Then the Blast Burn comes out and just, finishes off really well. Shadow Claw gets that Blast Burn very fast. And then Quagsire, we're just going to bring that back in and use our super effective Mud Shots to down it. So now against Primo, this is before I switched. I did go ahead and switch my moveset to Stone Edge and Earthquake. Pretty much the new consensus around town is that for Quagsire, I wanted to show this match to basically talk about how I did end up changing. This is one of the last matches before I changed the moveset on my Quagsire, so now it does have Stone Edge, and this is a match where I think I could have won and done a lot better had I had Stone Edge and not Sludge Bomb, so or at least had Stone Edge on there somewhere, whether it be Sludge Bomb, Stone Edge, or Stone Edge Earthquake. So basically the new consensus around town, and why I showed this matchup is because, there's a lot of flavors for Quagsire and what you can do with his charge moves, but the main thing is that you need Stone Edge. Get Stone Edge. And the secret link of the day for my friend code is Stone Edge. So Stone Edge Quaggy Boy. How about that? Stone Edge Quaggy Boy. Anyways, so we have Lantern versus Ninetales. Not going to be a great matchup for us. I should have done the Psyshocks. Don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking, I know it's going to be resisted, but I thought with how powerful of a move is in comparison to Psyshock, I thought maybe I would do better, but I would have been able to get that off like 2 Psyshocks and maybe even up to 3 at that point. So it was a very dumb move on my part. I wasn't looking very well anyways, but here you can see the water resistance for Ivysaur. The Hydro Pump's a really powerful move. It has stab too from a Lantern, so we resist it, and you can see it doesn't do but like almost half damage to us. So Ivysaur's pretty tanky is what I'm trying to say. Obviously that's a resisted move, but in general it's a pretty tanky Pokemon. So right here we're going to barely lose this match. He's got a little sliver on the Charizard and a little sliver on the Lantern. Very good match, Primo and everyone else. Alright, that is our Ivysaur little breakdown about how he compares to other grass types, whether or not he's a good replacement if you can't find a Frenzy Plant, Venusaur, or Meganium to, fill that grass role on your team. Hope that you enjoyed. I think it's a pretty decent Pokemon. It is a heavy Stardust investment to power up. I would suggest finding one that's weather boosted as possible, but thankfully unlocking the second charge move is only 10,000 dust, just want to thank everybody for watching. If you're new, make sure to subscribe and stuff, and hit the notification bell and stuff, and I hope that you'll have a nice day, and that's all I really hope, is that you'll have a nice day. Peace out, Brussels sprouts.